evening and welcome to another episode of Talk That Get Results. I'm Reverend Webbo Herbert, and as per usual, we're here every Tuesday evening with something that at least we think is of community interest and of some concern. And if you think that you have something which fits into that category, you'd like to find out how you can be a part of the program, well, why don't you drop us a line? Address it to a Let's Talk program in care of Vaughan Radio, P.O. Box 195, Charlestown in Nevis, or give us a call. Our numbers are 1-869-469-1616 and 01700. By the way, those will be the numbers you'll use to be a part of this evening's discussion. Thanks again for joining us. This is your voice in the community, Talk That Get Results. With regard to your participation in the show, we encourage you to call in on the numbers listed 1-869-469-1616 and 01700. Here's a suggestion. If you have a question or comment, perhaps you can get a pencil, piece of paper, write it down so that you're well organized. And when you're getting on the show, you take as little time as possible so that we can accommodate as many of you as we can. We ask only, first of all, to respect yourselves and then respect others, because we'll not accept anything we deem that's not within our broadcast standards, but we encourage you to always be forceful with your point. You can also follow our live video stream of this program on our Facebook page at Vaughan Radio and our YouTube channel, Vaughan Radio. Click subscribe. Tonight, Conrad Naya Liebert, good evening.
Good evening, Webbo, and a pleasant good evening to your hard-working staff here at Vaughan Radio, and to everyone who is a part or will be a part of this program tonight, joining us by the various means that we have access to in these times. I want to say a very special good evening to the people of Nevis, to my friends in Toronto and Connecticut, in Florida. I welcome you once again to this wonderful program. I hope at the end of this program we all can be more enlightened and of course more informed on the various issues affecting the people. Well, but we're coming close to the end of another beautiful day here in the island of Nevis. For me, it was quite a demanding day, and it makes one feel very good when one have gone about the day with optimism and have accomplished the task which one imposed on oneself. So I'm in a good state of mind tonight. I would not say that I'm sitting on the back seat of my mind. There's, I suppose, a lot happening around us. There are certain signs in the distance that seems to be of some political nature. It looks like there might be an election much sooner than we think. I'm not sure, but I understand there is a campaign or campaigns on the way, if not locally, across the waters, and on various issues that are affecting the people. Webbo, internationally, we know the discomfort of the world, high prices, global tension as it relates to trade. And so tonight I think we can have a beautiful conversation on the things that generally affects the people. I encourage the people out there to be a part of the program. I would say brave up. So many people always have something to say when they see me in the street, and I always say, call in, man, call in. But most of them always just shy away from that. I ask that we should get over that and be a part of the conversation. And I think in doing so, we can, add that essence of freedom to ourselves and more understanding as to how a democracy should work, especially from those in authority who people are sometimes afraid of. I wish that we can express ourselves, of course, without fear and hindrance. We have a beautiful platform here at Vaughan Radio, and these shows are obviously dedicated to such things. So let's use that opportunity to be a part of the conversation, and let's hope for a better Nevis going forward. Well, boy, thank you so much for having me.
I'm interested, Naya, in um, the part that you mentioned about this election that's coming soon. I know I've been around for a bit, and I know that around, closing in on 5 years, that's part of the, in my view, the routine, and then in addition to, well, I like to find out what signals you're getting, because as I had mentioned about a week or two ago, some of the signals that I look for are things like you begin to hear more about constitutional reform without hearing any details of what should be reformed. You begin to hear buzzwords and phrases like integrity, honesty, and so on, and great representation. And then you find also the people who love Nevis and St. Kitts more than anybody else appear, and perchance any, you who are not running might say anything, they will probably suggest to you, well, you don't really love, and then when you're not there anymore, it seems as if the love is gone. So all those things are expectant things. The St. Kitts, the federal election is, as far as I know, 5 years, 5 calendar years, will take us to June or July of 27. And then the Nevis Island Assembly elections will take us to December of 27. Right?
Yes.
That's, so, yeah, so what are you,
plus.
yeah, so what are you what are you, the signals and the feelers and so on that you're getting, which suggests, by the way, let me say what we will do after you've updated us and informed us, and if anybody wants to add to what you say, I have an update courtesy of the Premier and his press conference yesterday about the SSZ. Everybody wants to hear about that, so I have an update with some clips from the Premier on that. And I find it interesting, even intriguing. So we will play that, see what comments you may have on that, and if anybody wants to weigh in. And then when we're done with that, if we have time, and I hope we do, we want to do a little tribute to King Eliman. So anybody who is interested in, making a little comment, let me back up a bit, and because not everybody has known, he passed away a few days ago, and that's the reason why I mentioned that. So, Naya?
Well, Webbo, it's about all the things that you have said, words like constitution, integrity in public life, the issues that boundaries issues, but generally I do not have any inside information at all, Webbo. A lot of people fail to understand that I really speak to politicians for some reason or the other. I sometimes kind of don't really find much of a reason to speak to politicians, and that's, a lot of people think I know more than the average individual, but you can't run from the heartbeat of the people, and I don't know if they want to have an election pretty soon for various reasons, and I don't know if they feel like, according to what is taking place in the Federation, there will be an election soon. But I've been confronted quite recently on many occasions, even today, an individual who is quite astute as it relates to listening into the political scenery in the Federation, come and said to me, the election is going to be soon. They already start the campaign. You have not been listening to any political meeting in St. Kitts, and I was quite surprised. Without any verification, I think that if there is political public meetings in St. Kitts, then that certainly points to the fact that something is that seems to be the smoke, and the fire is somewhere.
Even when Labor Day is on the horizon.
Even when Labor Day is on the horizon. In fact, the individual said to me that he feels like there is that kind of talk that after Labor Day they will be calling a date. So I don't know who is fast forwarding too fast, or but I suppose sometimes, Webbo, when there is an unevenness in the performance of the government, sometimes when the people are very satisfied or not satisfied, that evokes that kind of a feeling within them that election can be coming before its time, because a government that's doing absolutely well will probably renew its mandate, and that a government that's not doing well at all might even try to squeeze one in, even if they experience a surge in public satisfaction, and so I suppose it's those two extremes why people are talking. Which one of them is left to be realized?
I see. So from your own assessment then, which one holds true? You said, for instance, that if a government is performing well, they are apt to call an election while things are going well. You give other factors why they may call an election, right? Would they call one likely if things are not going well? Would they call one early?
Well, I must tell you, that's what the public feels, yeah, and I say probably if they are experiencing a surge, for a few months as it relates to their popularity, something may have happened in this turbulent world. I don't know. I mean, you can come and make a good speech about keeping down the prices and doing such things that would impact on the people positively, and if you have that effect, then you may think it's the time to squeeze an election before the due date, because you may feel that is the point when the popularity surges in a positive way.
And in that case, you fear that in the remaining time, if you go to full course, you won't be doing well?
That fear would obviously be a part of a government that is not doing well and have experienced a surge in its popularity.
I see. Okay, so what I have now is an update on the SSC. From our news line, we gathered some clips from the Premier. He was asked a question and for an update on the SSC, and these would have been his responses, and then I can get your comment on the flip side.
The date of the deadline on Destiny, I think, was the end of March. The reason for that was that they had various contracts to purchase land that would have expired. I'm told that they were forced to renegotiate quite a few of those contracts and to pay additional sums to the vendors of those lands in order to continue to keep those contracts alive. Basically, the situation that the developers are faced with is that they can't go and buy these lands 100% not knowing if the project is going to be approved. So they've been forced to pay further amounts to keep the contracts alive. That was a concern. The last conversation that I would have had with the Honorable Attorney General on St. Kitts is that the federal government had decided to put in place a committee, and they were awaiting the response from the committee on this project. The advice that he gave was that whatever process they engage in should be completed by the end of this month, and so that's a matter of days that we hopefully will have some response from this committee, and then hopefully a response from the federal government. So the delays are quite disconcerting, but the Attorney General has said, the end of this month. So we will see if something comes at the end of this month and whether or not the project can be salvaged given that situation. If the Destiny project is lost, and it may well be, I think we have to confront that realization. What saddens me is that if it is lost, I would have liked it to have been lost because there's some substantive concerns about the project, not lost through delay, because that to me makes no sense. If you have a position, and come forward and say what that position is, because then you might be able to assist. Where Destiny started as a proposal and where it now is fundamentally different, because we have negotiated and renegotiated positions, as one would expect. Most developers come in and they want everything, and you have to negotiate with them. That's what governments do. So my point is that if there are concerns, and bring those concerns to the fore, share them, and have those concerns addressed. And then we can move forward. But the silence has been the problem, right? No progress has been the problem. So that is a concern that we have, and we may well lose the project through that.
Okay, that's it, Naya.
Yes, Webbo, it's what it is. March 31st, the deadline, and seems like some contracts would have to be renewed and more money paid up. I've heard something like that before. I heard that there was a deadline, and that deadline was coming up, and beyond that, it would be a situation where the investors would have to renegotiate for the lands. It's been said that if there is no project, then there is no sense in acquiring the lands. The way I look at that, the CEO of the project is an Evision. He has a local passport, I think it's Nevis passport, and one would expect that he would have just casually been financially able to buy a piece of land somewhere on Nevis, if not in the zone for that particular purpose, in the south for that particular purpose. Maybe in the south just to have a piece of the island that he expressed that he loves so much. But that I cannot put my head on a block about, because there's that suspicion that the Destiny owns land differently to the south, because they are offering, for those who were unwilling to sell their land in the south, they were offering another piece somewhere in an effort to have them change their mind. And so it's a bit of uncertainty there, but I would have expected somebody who is financially capable and have that love for Nevis as being expressed by the CEO, he would have buy a piece of land somewhere, you know. But it's been said that it looks to me like the lands were sold, or the attempt to sell the land was for that particular reason, and no other reason but to have the Destiny project happening. That's why it looks to me like there isn't much of a commitment to the island, but probably more so a commitment to themselves to undertake their likeness, you know, to have that city which is free, or have little or no government control, maybe pushing the boundaries of the Constitution, and bet your life, I personally feel like the intention was to, in the future, to have some political groundings from the south of Nevis. But you know, Webbo, I personally feel like a lot of people have been asking for a referendum, and there are times I consider maybe we should have a referendum on this, because the Premier constantly saying that people who are against destiny is all people, which I'm not sure, because even those who did that super advert about destiny, saying destiny and Nevis together, a lot of them are not very young people either. And also what I realized, they were all males. They were all males, especially those that appear on the newspaper, because they were all males. I want to know, what about the females, you know? And so I believe truly, with all respect, that the Premier is wrong by saying that those who oppose destiny are all old people who don't retire and ready to dead, basically. I believe there's quite a wide cross section of the people, as it relates to age, that question the.
Let me just include this caller. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Herbert, and to everyone here.
Good evening, sir.
Mr. Herbert, did the Premier said that the Prime Minister asked him to resubmit some document there that he had already sent over?
Yes, he said that when they sent the document, they were asked to resubmit it, I think, in a different format or something of that nature. If that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, because what that hit me like is a bit of disrespect in not knowing where to submit an official document. It's kind of hurtful, Mr. Herbert. That statement alone from the Premier, it bringing tears to my eyes, because it's becoming a lot of disrespect in governance in this federation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Now go ahead.
Yes, and so the question of referendum came to my mind once or twice. The Premier have said that he feels like a referendum wouldn't, make much sense, because people will vote along political lines. And I keep saying, well, he's the government. The government was elected by a majority, I think, and so why be fearful of a referendum on that particular issue? But you know what, Webbo? Referendum can take all kind of different forms, and we got to be mindful. And I personally will describe the last offer of $100 per month to Nivision as a referendum. I look at it in a way that the numbers that applied for that stipend, $100, would be a serious consideration whether or not the project go forward or not. It would speak volumes to the investors. And I've been talking to people all the while, and I have not come across anybody who have signed in for that money. I'm not sure if you have, or you know anybody who have signed in for that money. But everybody I've spoken to say not them, and they don't know anybody who have actually signed in for that money. I think the offer came a little after that super advert with the young and the middle-aged people talking about destiny and Nevis together. And I look at that as a kind of referendum, and I think the message strike home to the investors that, hey, look, man, it looks like out of these 14,000 people that live on this little island, we expect, if the people of Nevis wanted the project, they would have seen more applicants for that stipend of $100. Or maybe they're saying, well, the people seems to be more well off than we thought, or the people seems to have a sense of pride. But for some reason, I think the message that was sent by the signatures, the application for the stipend of $100 per month, speak volumes to all this. Because I personally think that if the people was welcoming this project, and for some reason the federal government was, moving slow in their part to play, in the part that they're supposed to play. I believe the March 31st deadline wouldn't have been really no big thing, to be quite honest. But I believe what I've strike home for the investors, that the people don't want the project. The people are skeptic about it, for various reasons, And the Premier also went on to speak to a committee that was put in place, and that is supposed to, according to the Attorney General, to report at the end of April. Well, the only thing is wrong with that is simply that it breaches the March 31st deadline. They know about it. I'm not sure how much the people knew about the March 31st deadline. But anyway, if you're waiting for some kind of a reply by April, the end of April, nothing is so wrong with that. If the project was so a positive thing for the Federation, I mean, the people would have happily wait and await the starting of the project. But it has been turmoil. It has been a social unrest, in a sense. Great concern and repugnance as it relates to the project. And I don't know. Well, obviously, the way it's been introduced to the people, I think that starts the whole thing on the wrong feet, and is no respect to those who have introduced it. But I think the people have developed a great sense of mistrust the way this project has been introduced to the people. I think the Premier undermined the inquisitivity of human imagination, because it is only obvious that if the Premier wife is that involved, to the extent which she was involved, and to respect to her and the work she's doing, and the Premier, I'm not really getting into a war with them, but I think, and they could have been actually very clean cut and honest, and but it's the perception of the people, the inquisitive imagination of human beings. And I personally, if I was the Premier, I probably would not have encouraged that. I probably would have been more sensitive towards that, and that's the reason why all the international writings about this thing always make mention of that. Because it looks to me like it's something that we cannot take as the norm going forward with any Premier or Prime Minister or President. And so in a democracy, and so we are here in Nevis, and that have really put a bad taste in people's mouth from the beginning. I'm not talking about the whole revelation of the intentions of the investors, because to be quite honest with you, the intentions are really stifling to the stipulations of the Constitution, and that has been a troubled matter. I think the government constantly been wrangling with that. I think with everybody, the Bar Association, civil society, Chamber of Industry of Commerce, every established body seems to be looking at this thing with skepticism. I mean, everybody can't be against Mark Brantley. Why? Mark Brantley is just the Honorable Premier of Nevis. But I think looking at it from an intelligent point of view, with the Constitution of the island, there was a lot of unanswered question, and I think the proposal that was sent to St. Kitts had to face up to a lot of scrutiny.
Good evening. Thank you for holding. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello, good evening. I'm calling from St. Croix.
Yeah, man.
And I'm listening to your No, no, my big concern with some of the people in Nevis, right? No, this project that we're speaking about, but the previous thing has been a way to tell the people of Nevis anything about this project. If this project were you think it will never. Thank you. Hold on. If this, all of us know if this project is thinking, the project would have been happening, and nobody from Nevis would have to say about it. Nobody would have to say about it. And you call it, I call it mental slavery, and that's why the people of Anguilla want a Webster. They just said they're not going to live under condition, and they went and did what they did. No, the people of Anguilla now laughing up the people of Nevis because the way you have to lay bondage, and we just talking. Ain't nobody from Nevis could take bread out of the people of the thinkers, but they could take bread out of people of Nevis. I said that is wrong. That is wrong. Nobody thinks it has been a way to decide the destiny of Nevis. They want to do that. And in my opinion, it's all about jealousy. It's envy and jealousy is what's going on. It's to make sure you keep Nevis down as much as possible. Because look what happened with the airport. I wish when I was saying December, this thing was saying up until now we don't sign. And I don't know. People. Some people say they don't really want to talk about it. Don't even want to talk about it. So everything in Nevis must, any kind of development, try and keep it on as much as possible. And people in Nevis, they can't see this thing. They can't see this thing at all. And what I am saying, that if the people in Nevis go deeper and think it for the work on Nevis, it's not going to work. And we know this thing going on because I listen to, I think the man there, sorry, I can't remember his name. This thing going on over 100 years. And it's not going to change. It's not going to change unless the people in Nevis make up their mind to change it, because the Constitution is more benefit to singles than Nevis. So why they should have an interest in changing the Constitution when the Constitution is more, in my opinion, is a singles Constitution? So how are you going to change it when you're not affecting singles? It's more affecting Nevis. And this thing with destiny, you're going to tell me they have the right to just have the information in there for 3-4 months. How long it take them just to do what they have to do? But you know what? If what goes on comes around, and if you play with puppy gonna lick him out. Because, as I say, if this destiny project is saying it, nobody needs to question nothing. That project would have gone. That would have gone. But the community people are the one who keep shooting themselves in the foot and turn around and play everything with politics. And the last thing that I have to say, that my opinion, that Mark Bundy, he's part of the problem because he have court. I will take the to the court, to the court in the United Nations, ask him how long it take it to do this information. He still want to kill it. And everybody know we come and say that the killer want to kill the project in Nevis. We can't kill nothing, but everything, as Bad Man said, when you plan to see that you kill it before you go. And we can't see this thing in it because come like we come in our worst enemy. We is coming worst enemy. You know, you're gonna tell me you cannot develop country without a proper airport. No. Maybe people paying back the money, you know. And when I heard since December someone saying, up until now you don't say it. Agbandi, you need to get up and take you to Cardinal Court. That's what you need to do. And that's why like the people of Barbuda. Okay. Anytime the government massacre in Barbudan people, the headman took it to London Court. And Barbudan win all the court against the government in Antigua. But we just can't the government we just can't sit down and let people think just kill everything. There is a court, get them carry you to the Cardinal Court of Justice and let them actually how long it takes to do this project. This is what you have to deal with. You have to stop dealing with this politics and deal with reality because I couldn't be between the neighbors. I will take you to the court and make him pay for the nonsense he being doing because out there playing out. I don't take part in politics. I don't take part because this could happen. If I was a politician, this would happen. I would make him pay for his crime. And the last thing I will say, you know, I think sometimes we have to talk about this thing. We talk about this CARICOM. But look at the political problem between things and neighbors. So if we can't fix our inward day in our backyard, how we want to fix in other people's place when we can't deal with the politics between two islands? One island trade to oppress another one. You know? So if you can't clean up your own backyard, you can't go there talk about use whatever position you got in CARICOM. Huh? That's nonsense. You're treating people like that and your position in CARICOM. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. You gotta be ashamed of yourself, man. You know, if you can't do what is right in the Federation, how are you going out there and try to do right in CARICOM?
Okay, caller.
Okay, and I say he's my cousin, you know.
Okay.
Because
we got you.
I got him.
We got
okay.
you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yes, Naya.
Webbo, you see what is taking place. There are certain sentiments seems to be evoked, will be evoked as it relates to the relationship between Sinkis and Nevis. That never changed, you know. I don't think there's anybody a bigger secessionist than me. You know, I grew up in that. I see the suffering of the people of Nevis all the time, from since I was a kid, and but I'm not sure if I'm ready, and I am not ready actually to bring that into this destiny thing, because I think the Prime Minister have made it clear that he can't control what goes on in Nevis as it relates to such investments, and we know also the Constitution gives us the right to do what we want as it relates to our lands over here, and I think what the Prime Minister have said about a month ago when he spoke on the destiny issue, he pointed out the areas where he does not have control over, and if you look at these areas, one would realize that the destiny project can go ahead without the consent of the federal government, and so, but to me there are other things happening, and as it's been from the beginning of this project, the introduction of this project, there are too many things that the public does not know, and of course it has been a secret unfolding and the people had to be cutting down a part through the jungle, trying to ascertain as to what is taking place. It's been said that they had some consultations with everybody, the school children, take them to Four Seasons, and they take some people up to some other posh places in Nevis. But the point I am making, if you're going to consult me and say this is our intention, as opposed to consulting me and say this is what we have done or intend to do, those are completely two different mindsets, and that would evoke two different kind of reaction in any individual. I'll say that again. If you say that you're going to consult me to tell me what you have done, it doesn't make much sense. If you consult me to say what you intend to do, I think that would make more sense, because it makes me feel like I'm probably I can influence what you intend to do, or I can be a part of the makings, really. And I think the consultation that was done by the local administration with the people seems to be one that the people themselves wasn't really represented. It was almost selling the people an idea, and through modern technology that reveals a lot of things about these investors, the people up to today remain very skeptic. And even the proposal, the people of Nevis knows nothing about the proposal. We're still, the people knows nothing. It's been said to sink it. It have not been ventilated in a public way, in the public sphere at all. You know, as I said, there were some people who was invited to I'm not sure if they was invited to form a committee or what, but they had the privilege of seeing certain things, and they had to sign an oath of secrecy. And so, you know, they could not even report to their group that they went to represent. And so, coming back to the people with that now, and trying to bring the old sentiment of think it's not doing things for Nevis, or don't want to see Nevis progress. It's unfortunate, because up to Nevis people don't know anything as to the proposal. We are still in the darkness as to the intentions. You know, the oversight committee was not put in place here in Nevis. It was said there will be an oversight committee, not to review the proposal, but to ensure that the running of the operation goes as the proposal reads, in a sense. A monitoring committee, a committee that ensures things are working the way the proposal speaks to. And so it seems to be like everything about this remains in darkness. And so I believe it's unfortunate if we are to now blame the federal government about anything to do with destiny, because the people basically have been left out of what exactly being proposed. If it's so good, and if it's normal, and something of great positiveness to the people of Nevis, they shouldn't really have any fear at all, letting the people see. And if it's good, the people jump and rejoice that good things going to be happening. But if it's not that good for the people, then they hide it, and the people don't know what is going on, and so it gets stuck somewhere down in Sinkers. Because really and truly, if it's affecting the Constitution I believe that it won't really be approved. They wouldn't get that nod from Sinkits, but they can still go on with the project. But as I said, I believe there was a referendum, and the referendum was the money, the $100 offered to the people of Nevis, and much people didn't take it. That is my impression. I mean, somebody can call in and tell me if they know, if they have taken it, and they know many people who have signed in for it. But from my investigation, it doesn't seem like much people, and that would speak wonders. That would speak definitely to the heart of the investors, because if you want to go into a country and the people them don't approve of what you're on about, I mean, that would really, make you want to turn around. So I believe what we are experiencing now, a kind of, if and maybe not too sure, it's not totally coming from the circumstance in about the proposal getting stuck in Sinkits, or even the local administration. I believe it's the mindset of the investors that they have not been very convincing on this. The people have basically reject the project, really. And who is to blame? Who is to blame? But we can only wait and see, because even though the March 31st deadline have passed, there seems to be some hope. It looks like if the AG decide to send the report as promised by the end of April. And the question is whether or not the pending election has something to do with this. How does the local government promoting the destiny, wrangling with the destiny, because it has been a wrangling thing with the destiny, how much is going to damage their credibility, how much is going to impact, what kind of impact it would have on them going to the people, asking them to vote for them and not to vote for the opposition, and vice versa, because obviously the opposition is against the project, and the Allen administration claimed to be for the project. And I believe it would impact. Maybe somebody just want to drop the hot potato and just to probably give better probability in an election.
Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening, all.
Good evening, sir.
It's unfortunate that it now has reached this stage where it seems as if it's going to become a blame game as to why this project has not materialized. And there's plenty of blame to go around. Can't absolve the federal government from this, because, in all honesty, if they had reservations, rather than use delay tactics, just come straight out and say what they are. Don't delay it with the hope that the investor's going to get fed up and leave. The quicker they get what the reservations are about it, the more time you'd have for at least some kind of renegotiation or something. Okay? So the federal government cannot absolve itself from some responsibility in this. But equally so, as was pointed out, the whole thing started wrong, and up to now, the whole thing is still shrouded in a lot of secrecy, which was unnecessary, I find. Because as was pointed out, if the thing is so beneficial to Nevis and Division, I would imagine you would have been out there, you would have been glad to show it off. And that has not been the case. And worse, I think it was Jensen himself who said that he wanted to give details on the project early o'clock, but was advised against it. Didn't say who advised him against it. But obviously, people.
When caller, I could ask you a question for clarification.
Yeah.
You said the gentleman himself said he
Yeah.
wanted to give details. The gentleman himself refers to who?
Jensen, I think his name was, when he had that interview with.
Who he had it with? Yeah, it's okay. So he said that he wanted to give give details, but he was advised not to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he said that. I listened to the press conference that came over.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself suggested that even those who he was negotiating with didn't feel that what they were negotiating was palatable to the vision. You know, and the whole thing to me ends up in one big mess. I still feel maybe it was a negotiating tactic on the part of the developers, but it seemed as if they adopted this all or nothing approach, giving a deadline and those giving deadlines and those sorts of things. When in
Caller, you don't find that a lot of the statements in this whole affair have been contradictory even by those who make the statements themselves?
As an example.
What you just said, you will hear them say one thing, and then somebody else on the same team or promoting the project says something else. You just said the gentleman himself, Jensen,
Right.
said that he wanted to give the details,
Right.
but I don't know if you said he said he was advised to, but the evidence is he hasn't given the details, and I have a difficulty. I have a
details to the authorities in Nevis.
okay, but
Not the people.
but not people who don't supposed to know. A couple of weeks we had an interesting, what it was again, a doctrine, you know, where a doctrine was put forth, where they said that maybe how we should do things. The authorities then, because we don't have no say nothing, should look at things and then approve it, and then give the other authorities and they look at it, approve it, and when everything done approved, they say, now you all eat that.
You mean present a fait accompli?
Yes.
Is that, do you really feel that's the way to go in a democracy?
No, walk with me. I said we were presented with that doctrine. We call it the five-field doctrine, that how we must do things going forward. So, some of us
But isn't that going to cause more problems down the road?
So I don't.
Because you
So
know, remember, when you
so
talk of contradiction,
hello. I am not presenting that doctrine and suggesting to you must live thereby. I'm only presenting the case or the doctrine.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm in support of it,
right. I understand that.
because the doctrine sounded so fascinating. That is why I titled it the five-field doctrine.
Fascinating or outrageous?
Well, remember, I don't know a lot of big words, you know, so I would stick in with fascinating.
Okay.
Yes.
That's bigger than outrageous. But
I don't know. I'm just sticking with what I know.
Okay.
So I'm saying that when you listen to the whole thing, and that doctrine, which seemed to be the thing that is at play here, is fascinating.
Okay. You call it fascinating. That's a nice sanitizing word for it.
Okay, what I must say then? What must I call it?
But
But I'm telling you how I determine
Yeah.
or evaluate or understand it.
okay. But I
No,
tell you another contradiction. It was said also that they were in contact with the federal government even before, even while they were negotiating with the authorities in Nevis. So to give the impression that the federal government only had this when on knew some details was when they were presented with the final agreement with Nevis. Is not it's not true. If you are to believe the gentleman again when he came on, okay, he was negotiating with both, and that is the problem, I think, why this has ended up in a mess like this. I remember when I was up there on the panel, right, and I made it clear that I didn't like the rollout of it in the first place, right, and the other feature was the drip coming out, and that night we knew of the possible 10,000 people that were going to be there. That was the first, I think, that number was mentioned, which itself raised alarms, because obviously the consequences of that are enormous. But I'm so sorry that even at this stage, right, I refer to the all or nothing approach of the investors. Why couldn't there be a scaled back project? Why does it have to be all or nothing?
But caller, do we know for sure? And if you have the evidence, you can point me towards it. You keep saying there's on the side of the investors there's an all or no, none. But do we know that for sure? Because as for me, my position from day one has been this: you all keep the debate going. I'm listening and I'm learning a lot, and along the way getting confused too, because I don't know where the supporting evidence is for that the investors are all or nothing. Because to me, I don't know how much. It's like, if you don't know where you're going, you cannot get there. Because we're, in some instances, debating something which we don't know nothing about.
But in the meantime, the investors are being given deadlines. We don't know the details, but they have been issuing deadlines, which suggests that, look, take it or leave it.
Right, but what I'm saying is, and we are weighing in on the debate and debating it, but we don't seemingly know what's in it. Because along the way you're hearing certain things, but you don't even know if it's true.
We don't know. We're not in the negotiating team. Obviously, we can't be.
But you don't have to be on the negotiating team, because a lot of things. So let me ask this: is it possible that some of the things that the public in general are asking to know, they're not supposed to know?
I can't think of what something like this, what would be in an agreement that the public should be unaware of or should not be privy to.
Okay. Some people are of the view that the ordinary person or voter should not know these details, because you had an opportunity to vote, you did or you didn't, but you have representatives and they are making those determinations. They are looking at it for you and they are making that decision. How about that?
Well, how about this? When we vote, we don't give them carte blanche, a blank check to do whatever they wish. Do you really think that when people vote, they sign away their life, their future and their life to politicians, a group of politicians who are men just like themselves, men or women just like themselves?
I don't know, just asking. Caller, let me take another call and you can call back in, yes. Okay, good evening, thank you for holding.
Hello, good evening. This is Livingstone Williams. y'all have an interesting conversation. I think all this conversation is moot because the SSZ legislation says that for any project to be considered, they must have all the lands. And by our premier and one of his ministers, by their own words, they said they did not have all the lands. Is that not so?
Yes. Yes. I've heard them say they had 60% or 70% of the land there.
Well, it could be 99%. They have to have 100% of the land for the project to go forward. And I hear a gentleman asking about he cannot see what or where could be in such a project where the people cannot know. Well, let me give him a little inkling. One of the things in this project is that there's going to be two gates, one for the locals and one for the people. And Janssen said, oh, we should not worry. We will be allowed, with his forwardness, we will be allowed to go over in that region. Well, this is how we are going to be allowed. We will be chaperoned and taken to wherever you want. Locals will not be able to drive into the project. But they can come into Nevis after letting whoever they want in by their port, if they get through. Does that sound right? Does that sound fair? Does that sound legal? Hello?
Well, no, certainly that's totally unaccepted. I mean,
that's
unacceptable.
Totally unacceptable, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more we need to know. But I will reserve my judgment and my information for another time. But that's one of the things which people should consider. It won't be an island within an island, no. We will be within their island. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Caller, please call back. Please be patient with us. 469-1616 or 1700. Yes, Naya.
One of the callers speak to an attitude of all, if not everything, nothing at all. I believe it was that kind of bombastic approach. And we can only believe because, as you admit, and most people know, we don't know the intricacies of it. And to me, the island administration is struggling to accommodate this approach. You know, they are struggling to accommodate this approach because I could remember in the early days, the Premier came on radio to say that the police, the regular police we have, will be the police over there. And that's before anything about development, proposal, and all that type of stuff come into play. You know, he also speak to the fact that, and the minister who sometimes on this program speak to the fact that there will be no taxation. They'll pay no tax. So it looks to me like, you know, these people come with something. And yes, the administration want to have the investment, and of course, like generally individuals wants to see more happening, and so they struggle to accommodate this approach because a long time before, and I keep saying there was arrangements made before, but they say no. Well, how you know, and how you come to the public and say straight up that the people won't pay no tax, you know? And obviously the people was considering their own police or security network, maybe equivalent to the police, and that makes it necessary.
Let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening, Webbo. Good evening to Naya.
Good evening.
Webbo, we started hearing about this whole thing with a conversation in a town hall meeting back in August, I think it was, of last year. That's 8 months going on 9 months. And back then, the person, when they were asking the questions of the government had no idea of what they were talking about. At least that's what they said. Here we are, 8, 9 months later, with a contract that's been submitted to the federal government, and we still don't have any answers. Are we comfortable with this? Is this something that we really want to even continue to talk about? If someone comes to you, Webbo, with a proposal to get something that you have, and you have no right to ask questions or to get further information, would you not see that as a red flag that something is very wrong here? Why am I not able to ask questions and get answers? What is it all about? Now we're hearing about this dialysis building up by the hospital, and it sounds to me that we're hearing the same thing. We're not ready to give information yet. We will release information when we're ready. To the people that you're going to represent, that makes people very uncomfortable because they don't know. A couple of weeks ago, Webbo, I was listening to a talk show on another radio station one afternoon, and one of the representatives from Nevis was on that show and said something along the lines of they were excited about the project, but they don't know enough about it. They haven't seen anything. And this is somebody who is a representative in the government. I found that really, really strange. How can someone who is a representative in the government at this point not know about what's in the contract, not know what this whole thing is about? And we keep going through the motions of these different things. I've got a piece of land, wherever, on top of the mountain in Morningstar, and you want it. But you want to offer me $100 to convince me that I should turn it over? Well, if it's so important to you, well, I'm sorry, $100 ain't enough. That sounds like a joke. And we've been played. The people of Nevis have been played. Now, I was left asking myself some questions because I was one of the persons who had conversations with these investors or representatives of them about the purchasing of land. And one of the things that I was really, really blown away was the fact that the deposit, when discussions came up about the deposit to sign off on the first leg of the contract, the deposit was going to be held in an escrow account somewhere where I had no access to it, or the owners would not have access to it. How can you hold up my land and take the money that's supposed to be coming to me as the owner and put it somewhere where I can't touch it? Do the people who are coming here really think Nevisians are that stupid, that we have no sense? This whole thing have made no sense from start to finish. When I've heard conversations and references to the lands over there being barren lands. Now, barren lands, right? Yet, didn't we hear about a hotel that was going to be built over there back a couple of years ago? We haven't seen anything happen, but there was a hotel being proposed to be built over there. people were interested in buying lands along the roadside over there. And the government was saying they had no money to fix the road. Yet those same owners of the land along that area have been paying their land tax for years. Where has that money been going? What has been happening to the money where the owners pay on their land tax every year? That the maintenance of the infrastructure for those areas can't be upkept. There's something really, really wrong with this whole thing, and it makes no sense. And I am hoping that this is an eye-opener for the people of Nevis. We have every right to ask the questions. We have every right to be told what is being negotiated on our behalf, especially something as significant of a portion of Nevis being pulled away from us. I was having a conversation just today, and I was asking someone about the piece of land. I think there's an area down at the bottom of Brown Hill that was set up and designated for a play field. I believe that's where Ivor Walter School would have their sports day and their running of tracks and all of that. That falls within that same area. So what would happen to the children of Ivor Walter School? Where would they have their sports festivities? The people of Brown Hill, where would they have their festivities? These are the questions that people have, and people are uncomfortable when they can't find or get answers, especially when they're told, well, in essence, this is a secret. We can't tell you about that. Go and read your Bible. It makes no sense. The people of Nevis, what about our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents sacrificed years ago when they didn't have half of what we have in Nevis today, and purchased those lands over there for their family members and their children and grandchildren and investment. Why should we walk away from it and leave it like that? Why? And we have people negotiating who are Nevisians like us, negotiating on our behalf to give away Nevis like this? Something just doesn't make sense about this whole thing. It does not make sense. And the people of Nevis have every right to know. Everything should stop right now. Dr. Drew, whoever, the agents think it's whoever, they need to put their pens and pencils and discussions down and go sit down until the people of Nevis get to know what's in this contract, what's in it for the people of Nevis. And if we can't find out that, we've got people here, Webbo, who are trying to do this and already own half of Nevis and other areas already. Do the people of Nevis know that? Do they understand that? Come on, man. Come on. This is 2026. We're brighter than that. We are bright. Nevisians have come a long way, and we've worked hard. We've come a long way, and we've worked hard. And Nevisians should be treated with much more respect than what we've... This is utter disrespect.
Okay, caller.
Thank you, Webbo. Thank you very much.
Okay, very well. Yes, no.
Well, Webbo, I think the caller have said her piece. Really make a lot of sense, to be honest with you. That's a big chunk of Nevis. I know, some will argue that it's private land here and there, but it's a big chunk of Nevis. And yet, we still don't know how big is the chunk, to be quite honest with you. But with 10,000 people coming in here, who won't have serious concerns about that, really? But again, going back to the caller from St. Croix and his concerns about St. Kitts not wanting to see Nevis grow, that again, Webbo, is taking that line of discussion and conversation is also one of the smokes that sometimes surface when elections is about to come around, because of course the people of Nevis, get a bit edgy when such things are being said, and if it's in reality, then we are very worked up on the matter, like we did get worked up recently about the fair share thing. So for some, I suppose it would be appropriate to interject this destiny thing and the airport thing into the whole political debate and conversation as we get closer and closer to the election. I mean, about the airport thing, I am keeping a tight lip on that because I have extended my mind to show some understanding of that, really, and I suppose it goes beyond, much further back, I suppose, as it relates to the airport. I have my personal thing about it, and I know it's always about money, but for sure, I think Nevis should have an airport. I think Nevis should not be comfortable with the taxi operation, even though it's working well. But I think Nevis has always been a difficult place to get to, and it's becoming even more difficult because even on the other side of St. Kitts where the sea taxi goes, it's undeveloped totally.
Well, if on the one hand you're saying Nevis is difficult a place to get to,
yes,
right?
Yes, man.
On the other hand, the Destiny proposal, I understand, will open up the ports, etc., and it will be easier to get to.
Open up which port? The port.
Walk with me. You have just said that Nevis has always been a difficult place to get to, correct?
Yes, sir.
But I'm saying now that there is a proposal, I understand, because I don't know what's in it either, that they will make Nevis easier to get to in terms of opening up ports or whatever. The point is, the project will make Nevis easier to get to. So how about that?
Well, I wouldn't bet my life on that. Exclusivity for such people means something too.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good night to everybody panelists there. I mean, now you're good night.
Good night, sir.
Now, whenever I listen to that lady, and she right on target, because up to today, me and a guy, I went beach, and Minnie was in the water. We were discussing about land and how that why these leaders, Caribbean leaders, black leaders, cannot get with one people to help develop our land and get into business thing. Why you got to be different race got to come in? It has got to be different race, whether white, Indian, Chinese, or whatsoever. No, I want them to learn from this guy in Burkina Faso, Abraham Cherry. This guy is doing everything to put the people in business, to put the country in business. That when money make, the money make in the country, the money stay in the country. Why that? It got to be somebody else got to come in, come develop. We are national of this country, we born in this country. Right? Why government don't find some way with the banks them that they could help people to build maybe restaurant, hotels. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of people got money in the country, I think it needs, We got a lot of millionaires here, but some of them don't, they do different things with the money and whatever, where with the money, right? But people who are really interested in a business, like an ordinary man who maybe he got maybe a $10,000 from the bank, he might got a $25,000 or $50,000 from the bank, and he want to go into maybe a restaurant, He want to go into a hotel to create work for people and all these things. Why it got to be some kind of other different race got to come in? Why?
Caller, so,
yes,
so you're right. So you're asking me why?
Yes.
Why they have to do that? Okay, well, let me ask you this. You normally call into different talk shows. You agree with that?
Yes.
And sometimes the leaders who you're referring to are normally on the talk shows. You agree with that?
Yeah, and they hear you, they listen, they hear you.
Right. So, so have you ever called in and asked them, like how you're asking me why? Have you ever asked them why?
When I mean ask, it's them I mean, Webbo.
Right, but
you know.
I get it, but just like
personally mean you alone,
walk with me.
Yes,
walk with me. When they are on, right? Let us say one of them name is Naya. Do you ever call in and say, Naya, why you all don't do ABC like you're suggesting? Have you ever done that?
Under the farm administration with Dr. Douglas, I do that.
So the answer is yes.
I do that to him. I call in and ask him why it got to be some foreign investors that always come in.
Okay, so the answer to my question is yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. That's all I wanted.
Yes. I does that to all the leaders, them to cabinet ministers, and them. I do that to all of them.
So, is one thing with me where I can know for sure. I ask a question. I don't go about and assume things. You see what I'm saying? So I appreciate you.
I respect you as a panelist. I mean, as a talk show host, you will be in point and target, and you ask questions, and that is so good. You don't have nobody come and run with your program, and I respect that. Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, I got you, and I got to tell you that what you did, you said you do it, and that is very good.
Yes, I asked them, why you got to be somebody coming, some Indian, some Chinese, somebody.
And when you ask...
They're not learn from this Abraham show from Africa, all learn from Mugabe.
And then when you ask them, do they normally answer?
Well, they don't answer now. They don't answer. No, they don't answer.
Okay. All right.
No.
But keep asking, yeah?
Yeah, okay then. You have a wonderful night. May God bless you and your panelists there. Wish you all the best in election coming up.
Election coming up?
Yeah, election coming up soon, man.
Work with me, don't hang up yet. When?
They're going to call it October, me month.
Oh, October, okay. All right.
They're going to think it in Labor Day, May Day. They're going to announce it with the March.
Okay, October.
Yeah, October, me month, yeah.
Okay, which year?
Blessed.
No, which year? October is the month. What year?
2026.
Okay, all right.
All right, take care.
Okay, good. Okay, now what I want to do, I don't want to discontinue what people are talking about, but I also mentioned I want to make a little tribute to King Eliman. So I'm going to play one of his songs, and if anybody wants to comment on what they're commenting on and comment on an element, that's okay. That's fair?
Yes.
Okay. So, I just told the caller a little while ago that even if they don't answer, he must still ask. Right? There's a method to that madness.
Yeah.
And listen to this.
Caribbean and the outer realm, I say, the true Calypsonian has an important role to play. From the street corner to government house or carnival, we bring you social commentary, political strife and bacchanal. But nowadays you'll find in countries like mine, the government only wiping out Calypsonians' line. But if everybody is on good behavior, there will be no cause to fear. once you happen to hear. But as long as you have politicians who think that they own people, I'm begging you, sing California, sing, sing California, sing. As long as they continue to fool voters the way they do, I'm begging you, sing California, sing, sing California, sing. Yes, until they stop aggrandizing, double dealing and pocketing, yes. The Calypso will change your Trinidad. Sparrow and Stallion really hit them hard. Mighty Chalky one, keep an eye on the Yankee man. He said you could spend the US dollar, but you cannot befriend Ronald Reagan. Honestly, I never know about boot and the soldier talk until mighty Gabby sings out in a calypso. Yes, it was that same calypsonian who in his song did beg and preach against the foreigner chasing Barbadians from their own beach. So as long as unemployment crippling your country, I'm begging you, sing California, sing. Yes, sing California, sing. As soon as you hear them say something wrong in the treasury, sing California, sing, sing California, sing. Until we stop the drug pushing that is causing so much killing, sing, sing, sing California, sing. Hear me?
From the VON Music Machine, this is a monster project.
You want the next one, Naya? What is your favorite? I can play your favorite after I play mine.
King Elimat?
Yes.
You know, I like a lot of Elimat tracks, to be quite honest with you.
You like this one?
Oh yeah. In the market scene.
After New York tour, me back hit the floor. All the talking down, Elimat is down. Some jokers try to mash up me brass band, fuck and pull up, but they stupid, they crazy. I'm a godless man, so please tell them for me. Man gone, man ya. Can you Makasima? Ban gone, ban ya. Can you Makasima? You cannot continue to never start. Can you Makasima? Start out from scratch and do that you smart. Can you Makasima? They want what's in my head. They want to see me dead, but I can't do that cause of Elimat and I'm in the Makasima. This the punch you've been waiting for. If it hit you, ask some more. A tune for brass, a tune for band, any kind of mass, woman or man. If you're feeling old, it'll make you young. If you're feeling cold,
good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening, Mr. Herbert. How are you, sir?
I am well, and you?
Okay, good. Naya, good evening, my brother. How are you?
Evening, my brother. Good evening.
Good, good. Well, I'm requesting two of Elimat. If I can get one, I'll be happy. The poor can't take no more, and the wicked fifer.
Okay.
Okay.
What about the one where he said he found a lot of love, lots of it?
We'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about that next time.
The poor can't take no more?
The poor can't take no more, and the wicked fifer.
Wicked fifer. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you,
Thanks, my brother.
I'll give you something of each one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening, Webbo. Thank you for taking my call. Webbo, there are a lot of red flags surrounding the Destiny project. Number one, the proposal is, up to this point in time, don't even know if anybody besides the Premier knows what's in that proposal. Yet he's asking us to accept it. That's not acceptable. Anybody who get a glimpse of it, they do not want to touch it. The federal government realize that whereas the Premier is saying that is Nevis paying back on this kind of thing, every time the federal government have to sign a guarantee, it means that if the Nevis Island administration cannot stand up to the responsibility of paying back these loans and all for the airport and different things, it rests on the federal government if they sign as a guarantor. The Premier was giving that to somebody else, saying that is Nevis paying it back. That's just rubbish. The federal government knows that the debt to GDP ratio for Nevis is way higher than it should. The IMF has recommended 60%. The debt to GDP ratio for Nevis is somewhere in the order of 100%. And it means that if the federal government signs for any loans for Nevis, which they have done with the National Bank, I think $20 million, if they can't pay, the federal government have to pick it up.
Okay, caller, do we know whether or not that ever happened before?
Whatever happened before, Webbo?
That the federal government had signed a guarantee for Nevis and Nevis was unable to pay back.
No, I'm just stating, Webbo, what the case is.
I got you, and that's why. Right, and that's why I asked the question.
If I go to the bank to borrow a loan, and the bank tell me I have to get a guarantor, it means that the guarantor will have to pick it up if I default.
Right. So
That is just a fact.
Right, I got that, and I asked a question. Do we know in the history whether or not it ever happened? And you said you don't.
I just told you I do not know.
So,
it does not mean that it cannot happen.
No, I did not.
I'm just stating a fact.
Okay, all right.
I'm just stating a fact.
Okay,
yes.
I got you. Okay.
No,
this is what I want to do. I want to, because we're trying to do two things. We're trying to do a little tribute for Elimat, and we have other callers. So we're gonna, you're
gonna finish my call. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna shorten the callers for now.
Okay.
Yes.
Not a problem.
Yes.
Not a problem.
All right. Thanks. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yes. Good evening again.
You heard. Work with me. Work with me. You heard the instructions I just gave the gentleman?
Concerning...
At this juncture, we're going to shorten the call so we can accommodate us.
Oh, yeah. I was going to talk about Elimat.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I just wanted... is joke making?
You want that?
Yeah, because I think that is so relevant After all this time, after independence, all this time has passed since independence,
Okay.
and it's still relevant.
I'll give you some of it.
Make sure you include the lines when that we should stop living like cat and mice. And Nevis should stop living like cat and mice.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody wailing, children screaming, buckle belting, police bugging, what's any man whining?
Hello, good evening. Thanks for holding.
I just want to send all my condolences to the Matthew family from Newtown and the Nero family, Elimat family, the family of King Elimat, and I want to wish them all the best. Elimat was our national icon for Think It Newest. He really spread the message around with the music and the calypso, and I want to wish the family all the best. I do it on different radio stations. I want to do it. I will allow to the one radio and I get to do it tonight. So, Webber, I want you to play Think It Is My Burning Land, I say.
Okay.
And you can't get time to play all them things because I know the program goes.
I'm going to try do the best that I can. I'm working with you.
Okay, all right. Now, you take care, man. Bless you.
People pushing, people ready, following the Viper. Your mind, your back, in your waist, in your knees, in your spine, music night and day. Break away. I'm blowing down the tongue, up the back, in the spear, down the foot, after that, blowing night and day. Anyway, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel
Sugar City Sing Kids. Keep it sweet. Keep listening to Bob.
the way things going on in my country got the historians hard at work. Well, I am one who want to believe that the whole situation is a big, big joke. No, I back in Palm and my sister back in Labour, but that can't stop me from loving one another. No, I vote Powell and she vote Willie Doe. But to box me, sister will have to box me for sure. So when I set out to destroy Labour, which one of them go touch me, sister? Is when Labour decide to shoot down Pam, you think me sister go shoot I man? No, it's so. It is time that we understand that there's a time for Labour and a time for Pam. The country is sinking, it needs rebuilding. We have to start uniting and stop fighting. Oh, it's joke we making. It seems to me we are carelessly destroying all the nation. At the rate we are going, we are rapidly approaching the point of inevitable self-destruction. I would like to rest me hand on that crazy louse who's stupid enough to burn down the courthouse. Such a tragic loss is affecting everybody. Yes, gone is the evidence of part of our history. Yet some people say it is their desire to see the whole of my country on fire. It's for when trouble start, it ain't there, it doesn't. If they think that fire got a friend, no, it's our selfishness, our lust and our greed make we blind to what we have. We don't know what we need. We must gather our forces and pool our resources. Replace egoism with patriotism, but it's joke we making.
Always satisfying. Vaughn Radio. The powerhouse.
It's not a woman's marriage. All hands on deck. Cheers, class. So true. I met this girl in a party. I met she dancing all alone. She told me that she needs somebody, so I told her I can take her home. But now she done something to me, no like that. She fucked me up because she had the guitar woman. Now she tells me that she can make her good wife. She can only wash with Clorox and Clorox. Oh, Melissa, oh, Melissa, how come you told me you're a lady and you only want my money? Girl, you cannot be my honey. You have to run, run, run. Oh, Melissa, oh, Melissa, you want me good to nigga business. That is not a good habit and you cannot spend on that. You have to run, run, run. Leave your house.
All the hits of today and memories of yesterday. Vaughn Radio.
1974 Carnival. Everybody calling for Bacchanal. Man, woman, and child, masquerading brass band and steel band, jamming street band and bedroom beating everywhere. Man, running to catch up the steel band, GIs coming down with Daniel and Mastill and rioting Mastill. Going down for chic like we crazy. The music so sweet, we gone mad. And anybody who try to stop will be Bacchanal, going on bad. Amongst them, oh Lord, jump them, oh Lord, beat them, oh Lord, oh Lord. Smash them, oh Lord, mash them, oh Lord, trash them, oh Lord, oh Lord. Because Annie got a big, big fancy, looking real
Keep listening to Bob.
Everybody said Thomas, I said Thomas, come to escape from carnival, I said yet. A Crucian woman come and tell me to take she back to Sugar City. She want to jump up with Kittation for this year's coming celebration. She says she here and with us have plenty fun. She want to sing and dance behind the big drum. I said, darling, if you think we're easy, you wet. Let me tell you how Sugar City does fare. Anytime we hear music on the street, Sugar City jamming, Sugar City jamming. They really have to sound so sweet. Sugar City jamming, Sugar City jamming. When you see we drink up, everybody mash up, whining and singing. Sugar City jamming. When we're in traffic, we don't want no music, murdering the land. Sugar City jam, 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 jam. By and large, in the world today, the poor man going down in every way. In America and Europe, Asia and Africa, Middle East and the West Indies, the poor man getting real squeeze. Everything in the world costs plenty money. The rich living easy while the poor unhappy. Out of the pit of sheer frustration comes what was a revolution. The poor man got it hard in every land. The poor can't take no more. That's the cry from shore to shore. If we right, we get it wrong. If we fight, they shoot me down. Oh Lord, Lord, I want to know if it's so, the world must go. One day we are gonna rise and take the rich by surprise. Only then they know for sure. The poor can't take no more. They taking boat and they taking plane, and they swear you'll never see them again. Leave house and land and go away. By whatever means in a foreign land they'll stay. With careless abandon, they leave the motherland just so. You run into my countrymen everywhere that you go. While them in a foreign land catching hell. The foreigners in the country do you well, not me. St. Kitts is me born in land, I say. So it's St. Kitts, I got to make it anyway. So if it's good enough for the Trinidadian in Dan Dan, and it's good enough for Antigua born Luckian, and it's good enough for the Golden Lemon Yankee, St. Kitts is good enough for me.
Weak heart must feel it. Elimat speaking here. I would like to let some people know, stronger than ever. All the fans of in Toronto, stronger than ever. All the fans in New York City, stronger than ever. Tell all the girls in Montreal, go stronger than ever. But it have some hypocrites in my country. All I pray for Juni Bulgani, because it's all on from Mokil. I mean, they want to take insurance money. And all the praying to see the GI sport, stronger than ever. All the prayers to live to hear us born, stronger than ever. You could never hear them wish us well, but we stronger than ever. Kiss my pants and go to them, for we stronger than ever. Ayo! let some people know. Stronger than ever. Madam Stashing and Big Mouth Road. Stronger than ever. All refanting Virgin Isle. Stronger than ever. All them thinking making style. Stronger than ever. Everybody know we're in grudges for the show and patches. Though in business we can't agree. We don't take it personally, and everybody who fussing we daily. Stronger than ever. All those who try to understand we read. Stronger than ever. All them who stop their worrying. Stronger than ever. I want to give this message to Ron Martin. Stronger than ever. Ayo!
Okay, Naya, your final words.
Man, I'm so happy. I could have listened to Elimat all night. It's great. It's great. I mean, everything in music, you know. The thing I like is the human feel, you know. No rhythm box at all. You know what I mean? It's just raw rhythm, Congo steel, you know, drums. You know, I like that, and you can feel it. You know, you can. Elimat was great. I could listen to that stuff all night, to be quite honest. You know, and tribute to Elimat and his whole family. My condolences. He's really, you know, he's actually the best we had here. And internationally, he's well known. I mean, he used to go to Trinidad and New York, Labor Day in Brooklyn, and mash the place up everywhere he goes. You know, Elimat and Dread Bass was actually the best calypso band in the world at one point, for sure. I used to go to their dance when they returned from their North American tours. I don't know why my parents used to let me go out when I was so young, but yeah, beautiful. And even in the Panorama in St. Kitts, that used to be the biggest event. I used to go down. I constantly wondering why my parents used to let me go so young to the Panorama in St. Kitts.
Yeah, that's in part what this was about too.
Yes.
That's
and all those big bands.
Tied with him.
Yeah. Breggin, man. Wicked, man.
For the show, Alan patches, though in business we can't agree. We don't take it personally, and everybody who fussing we daily. Stronger than ever. All those who try to understand we read. Stronger than ever.
That's it.
Yeah, Gandash too, yeah, man. Old tones, heat waves. You know, the Panorama used to be my show to go to.
So you like the part, all them who tied Gandash too?
Gandash too, yes, because Gandash too was a big band there.
I like when he says, all who prayed to live, to see me fall.
Oh yeah. No, wicked man.
Well, a lot of us grew up with him.
Yeah. I remember one Panorama, the whole band came on in army suits, you know, and he won. Yeah, I mean, he always was in front of them anyway. He's you know, he's somewhere he should have been honored in somewhere because he was, you know, excellent, and a lot of his musicals like the Hallelujah chorus. You know that one was excellent too, and his Christmas songs that Mick Heiligo sang, you know, excellent stuff, all the way.
This part, this one.
All the pain to see the GIs fall. Stronger than ever. All the pain to live to hear us fall. Stronger than ever. You could never hear them.
Breggin, boastful.
No, that's not Breggin boasting, that's confidence.
Yeah, confidence all together, man.
The man could back it track.
Yeah. No, you couldn't hold Ellie, man. Couldn't hold him, man.
So, this program repeats tomorrow at 10 o'clock, following the VON News Minute. Join the Honorable Mark Brantley tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock for On Demand. Join Keith Scarborough at 8 o'clock on Thursday evening for Government at Work. You all have a wonderful evening. Thanks for listening.
Everybody know we're in grudges for the show, Alan patches, though in business we can't agree. We don't take it personally, and everybody who fussing we daily. Stronger than ever. All those who try to understand we read. Stronger than ever. All them who stop their worrying. Stronger than ever. I want to give this message
listening to Love